So today we are going to go through our next lecture, that is your lecture 3. The first thing that we are going to learn over here is about a computer system. What a computer system comprises of. So if we see over here, a computer system are a collection of hardware and software that are designed to receive, process, manage the instructions given by a user and returns output in the form of human readable. So what does that mean? That a computer system is basically the collection of your hardwares and softwares which are designed to receive the information that you are giving to the computer, to process that information, and then to manage the instruction given by the user and return output so that you can get the output. Once the information is processed, computer gives you the output so that the human or the user can read that information from the screen. Okay. Now comes hardware. It is a physical part, for instance, input device, output device, CPU, that is your central processing unit, also known as the brain of the computer, and storage devices. So what does the hardware comprises of? The physical part. Okay. The hardware comprises of the physical parts, for instance, the input devices. Input devices can be your keyboard, your mouse. Those are the hardware basically, and are used to give the input to the computer, to give the instruction to the computer, right? Then you have output devices. Output devices like your speaker, your printer. These are also hardware, but what do you get? You get the output from that, your monitor. Okay. Then you have your CPU, that is also called as brain of the computer, and it is used for processing whatever input has been given by the user to the computer, that gets processed in CPU. Okay. And storage devices. Storage devices is like your hard disks or pen drives that you use. They all are the hardware only. Okay. Then comes your input devices. It is used to send instructions by user to perform some task. Okay, so input devices are basically used to send instruction by the user to perform the task that has been provided. Then comes the next is your output devices. It is used to return human readable output after processing of instruction given by the user. So output devices are basically human readable output. After it gets the instruction that has been given by the user gets processed, the computer gives you the output so that the human or the user can read it. Okay. Then you have your software. It is also known as programs and application. Software can also be known as your programs or the applications. Okay. Computer software is classified into two categories. So computer software is classified into two categories, that is, first is application software and second is your system software. So there are two types of software. What are they? They are the application software and your system software. First, let's see what are your system software. So system software, it is used to operate computer system, that is operating system. So what is a system software? It is basically the operating system that you use. Okay, that can be Windows 7, Windows 10, XP, Linux. They all are your operating system. Then comes your application software. It is used to perform a specific task, example MS Word, Adobe Reader, Notepad, etc. So the application software are like the software that you have to get it installed in your computer and then you can use it, like your MS Word, your Adobe Reader. These are your application software. These are actually application, small programs that you can use to complete the task that you are performing to get the output. Okay, then you have your storage devices. Storage devices is just to store the data. You store your data in pen drives in your hard disk. These are all storage devices. Okay, then you have your functions of computer. Okay, so talking about the functions of computer, at a fundamental level, computers operate through these 4 functions. So what are the 4 functions that computer perform at the basic level? That is your input, output, processing and storage. So let's see input, the transfer of information into the system. Input is the transfer of the information into the system through keyboard or can be mouse also. Then output, the presentation of information to the user. For example, the screen, okay, speakers or your printers, they are all output devices, and output is the presentation of the information to the user. Then you have your processing, the retrieval or manipulation of information into a new form. So whatever instruction has been given by the user to the computer system, that gets processed, and then you get the output. So that the processing part is the manipulation part, okay, of information into a new form, that is result from a search engine, right? Then you have your storage, the storing or the preservation of information for later use. So you have your storage devices where you can preserve your data, okay, you can keep your data safely, and also that can be called as you're storing your data so that you can use it later on. So you have your storage devices, example your hard drive. Okay, then comes program and data. See, what is the basic difference between a program and a data? So let's see this. Program is an instruction that goes to your CPU, and your CPU decides which pins on the CPU or turn on or off based on the instruction. So basically program is the instruction that has been given to the CPU, okay, the step-by-step instruction that has been provided to the computer system, and that is being processed, while data is bits and bytes, just like a program, but does not go into a CPU as instruction. Rather, it is used by program to carry out certain processes. Okay, so data is basically your bits and bytes that is not been given to the computer as instructions, okay, but is been used by the programs to give you the output. Now there are some platforms. So what are the platforms? Let's see. A computing platform or digital platform is the environment in which a piece of software is executed. It may be the hardware or the operating system, even a web browser, and associated application programming interface or other underlying software, as long as the program code is executed with it. So basically a computing platform or a digital platform is the environment in which a particular data is being processed, okay, or a particular software is executed. It may be the hardware or the operating system. Even the web browser are associated with application programming interfaces. So that can be a hardware, that can be an operating system. Okay, see, suppose you are using a Linux based operating system. It is a Linux operating system. So the platform is Linux that you are using. If you are using Windows, you are working on a Windows platform, right? Linux platform, Windows platform, or you have your Mac OS. So if you are working on Mac, so that would be Mac platform. Okay. Then you have your computer networks. A computer network is a set of computers connected together for the purpose of sharing resources. Okay, so basically the computers are connected together so that the data can be shared through the network. Computer network are the basis of communication in IT. Oh, that's true. Yeah, computer network are basically the basis of communication in IT, that is in your information technology. They are used in huge variety of ways and can include many different types of network. A computer network is a set of computers that are connected together so that they can share information. Okay, what do networks do? Some of the things that networks are used for includes: first, communicating using email, video, instant messaging and other methods. So the network is used for communication. You can communicate through email, video, instant messaging or other methods. Next is your sharing devices such as printer, scanner and photocopier. You can share these devices from one computer to another. Then you have your file sharing. You can even send or receive the files through networks. Sharing software and operating system on remote system. You can actually share the operating system or the software through remote system. There are some of the remote systems that are used for accessing the computer. So there are some applications also with the help of which you can actually access anyone's computer sitting at any corner of the world. Then you have your allowing network user to easily access and maintain information. So you can just access the information that you want to access and you can just maintain the record. Three main components of computer networks. So basically the three main components are the server, workstation and communication channel. So let me explain you these 3 points. Server, it is the main computer basically, okay, which controls the workstation. Workstation are basically the client computer. Okay, so in a network we have a main computer and that main computer has been connected with the other computers that are called the clients. So the main computer is the server and the other computers that are connected are the clients. Clients are also called as your workstation, PCs on which you can work. So the server in computing, a server is a computer program or a device that provides functionality for other programs or device called clients. Okay, workstation is a special computer designed for technical or scientific application, intended primarily to be used by one person at a time. They are commonly connected to a local area network and run multi-user operating system. Then you have your communication channel. Communication channel is the network, basically the wires that are connected in that network. Okay, so a communication channel is a type of media that is used to transfer message from one person to another. In business specifically, communication channels are the ways information flows from in the organization within and with other companies. Okay. Then you have the types of computer network. So here are 3 types that we are going to discuss. The first one is LAN, then you have your MAN and then WAN. So LAN stands for local area network, MAN stands for your metropolitan area network and WAN stands for your wide area network. So let's see what are these. So LAN, you can see the diagram over here. Okay. Now when you'll be like completing your question and answer, you'll be also drawing these diagrams. Okay, so for LAN area, that is your local area network, is a group of computer connected to each other in a small area such as in your building or office. So local area network, that is your LAN, is only for small area, that can be only a particular building or in a particular office. LAN is used for connecting to a more personal computer through a communication medium such as twisted pair or coaxial cable, etc. It is less costly as it is built with inexpensive hardware such as hubs, networks, adapters and Ethernet cables. The data is transferred at an extremely faster rate in local area network. Okay, data is being transferred at a high speed. Local area network provides high security. Okay, then you have your next, that is your WAN. WAN is wide area network. Wide area network is a network that extends over large geographical areas such as the states or countries. So the area for this type of networking is wide, big or large area. Okay, a wide area network is quite bigger than LAN. A wide area network is not limited to a single location, but it spans over a large geographical area through a telephone line, fiber optics or satellite links. The internet is one of the biggest WAN in the world. The wide area network is widely used in the field of business, government and education. Fine. Then you have your diagram. This is the server and these are the clients that are being connected, and the area is wide. Then you have your MAN. A metropolitan area network is a network that covers a large geographical area by interconnecting a different LAN to form a larger network. Government agencies use MAN to connect to the cities and private industries. In MAN, various LANs are connected to each other through a telephone exchange line. The most widely used protocol in MAN are RS-232, Frame Relay, ATM, ISDN, OC3, ADSL. Okay, it has a higher range than the local area network. So this was your MAN. This is the diagram that you will be drawing in your notebooks. Then comes your Internet. Internet is the global system of interconnected computer networks that uses Internet Protocol Suite, okay, your TCP/IP, to communicate between network and devices. It is a network of networks that consist of private, public, academic, business and government network of local to global scope, linked by a broad array of electronic, wireless and optical networking technology. The Internet carries a vast range of information, resources and services such as the interlinked hypertext document and application of the World Wide Web, electronic mails, telephony and file sharing. So basically you all know what Internet is. Internet is something where you can search anything through your search engines, that is your Google, Yahoo, Bing, and then you get the data in the form of hyperlinks. You get the data which are blue in colors. Okay, so when you click onto that hyperlinked text, a new page gets open and from that page you get your information, right? So in the internet the data is in the form of your hyperlinks, and then by clicking onto that hyperlink you get the information. Okay, so the next that we have is the intranet. An intranet is a private network that can only be accessed by authorized users. The prefix intra, prefix means the first half of the word. Okay, the prefix means internal. The intra prefix means the internal, and therefore implies an intranet is designed for internal communication. Okay, internal communication. So it is basically only allowed in a particular authorized area only. Okay, inter as in internet means between or among. Since there is only one internet, the word internet is capitalized. The word internet is capitalized. Okay, then you have the homework that you all need to do in your notebooks. So here are 9 questions that you have to do. This has been actually mistyped. This is the 9th question. So you have to do all these nine questions in your copy. and I'll see you again in the next lecture now.